Hello, I'm up visiting at my parents' house, and that explains why there's a different background behind me than normal. Normally, I have a bookshelf in my office behind me, but that's not important. What's important is that today we are going to be discussing the dream solution, how considering the method of divine revelation may help us harmonize Genesis 1 with science. So I love the Bible and I love science. Talking about the Bible, I was blessed to grow up in a family where I learned to believe the Bible, and I started reading and learning about the Bible at a young age, and I've studied and read the Bible all through my life. I just began a one-year reading program for 2023 to read through the Bible. Once again, those who love the Bible the most love to read it over and over again. There's always new strength, new help, new wisdom, new insights. I love the Bible. I believe the Bible is the inspired Word of God. I believe that it is completely true, and I trust it deeply, and I seek, with God's help, to live my life according to the Bible. I also love science. I'm not saying that my love for these things are equally important. They're not equally important. But I do love science, and I have since I was a child. I remember when I was in, I think, just elementary school, going to a library and picking out a book about atoms. And I loved reading about the nucleus and the neutrons and the protons and the electrons. And I've loved science my whole life. My undergraduate degree is in mechanical engineering, which is basically physics and learning a lot about different parts of physics and how it applies to certain areas of engineering and engineering problems. After college, I worked as a nuclear engineer for the U.S. Navy on nuclear submarines for 5 years. I've had opportunities since then to be a assistant teacher and assistant professor in classes on thermodynamics and heat transfer, teaching engineering students. And I've just read, I love to read books about science. I love to read articles about science. I love to read about different types of science. I love the Bible and I love science. And in general, the two go together great. And there is scientific evidence to support belief in God. That's not the focus of this video. I'll give a link, both, Lord willing, I'll remember both in the description to this video and also at the end of this video that you can go to look at some of the videos I've made where I do talk about scientific evidence that supports belief in God. But when it comes to the age of the earth, there is an apparent, excuse me, there is an apparent but not real discrepancy between the Bible and science. I believe that both are true when they're understood correctly. But the simplest reading of the Bible, with a literal reading of Genesis 1, and then you can add up the ages of the people and start connecting things in the Bible to events in history, it gives an age of both the earth and the universe of about 6,000 years. The most common understanding of science indicates that the earth is about 4 billion years old and the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Now, what is at stake in this issue? And in one way, not a lot is at stake, but in another way, a whole lot is at stake. So let's talk about why I say that in one way, not a lot is at stake. The basic fact that God created everything is a foundational Christian doctrine that is found throughout the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. The first verse of the Bible talks about it. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. We see it in the book of Revelation, where people are worshiping God because he created everything. Worthy are you, our Lord and God, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they existed and were created. We see it in the Psalms and in the prophets. These are just samples of many verses. Of old you laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. And in Isaiah, God is speaking through the prophet and says, I made the earth and created man on it. It was my hands that stretched out the heavens, and I commanded all their host. And then we see it in the epistles. Uh, all things were made, well, the Gospels and the epistles. In John, the Gospel of John, it says, all things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that has been made. That's talking about Jesus. And then also talking about Jesus, Paul wrote, for by him, by Jesus, all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him. So the basic idea that God created everything is very foundational to the Christian worldview. However, the idea that God created everything in 6 days, and that therefore the earth and the universe are young, is based only on a literal reading of Genesis 1 and 2 verses in Exodus. These are the 2 verses in Exodus. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and made it holy. And then a little bit later it says, it is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel that in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth. And on the seventh he rested and was refreshed. And here the 7-day week with 6 days for work and 1 day for rest is a pattern that is based on the creation story in Genesis chapter 1. So it is, the most simple, straightforward reading of these verses would give a young earth together with Genesis 1. However, there are no verses, not one, that explicitly refer to the age of the earth or the universe. For example, there are not any verses in the New Testament that say something like, 4,000 years ago when God created everything. There also aren't any verses that say something like, we can see how amazing God is because it only took him 6 days to create everything, and it takes us a long time to just make a building. The only doctrine that's related to creation week is, and it's not really a doctrine, it's a moral principle, is the pattern of work and rest. The age of the universe and of the earth are not central doctrines of the Christian faith. Now, I'm not saying that they're not important at all, and I'm not saying that people shouldn't think about them, and almost everyone does at some point. Almost all Christians do ask this question at some point. Some people think about it a lot, and some people just a little bit, but it's a common question that people have. I know some wonderful Bible-believing, Jesus-loving Christians who are serving our Lord and their neighbors who believe the earth is young, and I know others who are just as wonderful and dedicated to God and his work who believe that the earth is old. Further, while I myself do not believe the Bible contains errors, if someone thought that God allowed the author of Genesis and Exodus to be mistaken about the length of time of creation and thus the age of the earth, this would not logically preclude them from believing that Jesus rose from the dead and that by faith in him as our Lord and Savior, we can have our sins forgiven and be granted the gift of eternal life. So in some ways, not a lot is at stake, but in other ways, a lot is at stake. So let's talk about that. When people think that there is an actual conflict between the Bible and science, this often undermines their faith in the Bible, and in some cases, it has been part of what led people who once appeared to and claimed to hold to the Christian faith to leave the Christian faith. I've heard testimonies about this from people on YouTube, but also someone who I know personally and I talk to a lot mentioned this as one part. It wasn't the biggest thing, it wasn't the only thing, but it had a negative influence on his faith in Christianity. And then, like I said, just the fact that so many people think about it means it's worth talking about. Even if it doesn't cause someone to leave the Christian faith, it is legitimate for people to ask questions about how the Bible and science relate to each other when it comes to the age of the earth and the age of the universe. So the Bible and science I used to think that the scientific evidence was being wrongly interpreted. Um, uh, for probably about half of my, maybe close to half of my life, I thought that the Earth was most likely young. I was never dogmatic about it, um, and I never thought that people who disagreed with me on this issue were like heretics or anything like that. But I lean towards thinking that there must be some better way to understand the science than the way that it's usually interpreted to say that the Earth was old. But then over time, and it wasn't any one argument or one piece of evidence or one book, but just over time, as I thought about the scientific evidence and engaged with it, I thought, no, I think the scientists, the majority of scientists, because there are scientists who believe in a young Earth, but the large majority who believe in an old Earth and an old universe are probably right on this one. Now, I think it is more likely that the simplest, most literal reading of Genesis 1 is probably not the correct reading. Lots of times, I would say most of the time, the simplest reading of a Bible text is usually pretty obvious. The meaning, um, the most straightforward meaning often, very often, is the correct meaning, but that's not always the case. Sometimes, the Bible uses metaphorical language and symbolic language, and so I think that there's not an actual conflict, but I think the reason there appears to be a conflict is that many people treat Genesis 1 and then there's 2 verses in Exodus as being completely literal when it comes to the days and the timing issue, and they're not meant to be read that way. Now, I want to share some of the scientific evidence for an old Earth and an old universe that cumulatively I find convincing. I'm not going to go into great depth on this because it's not the purpose of this video to do that, but I want to just give you a taste of the type of evidence that caused me to shift to thinking an old Earth is probably correct, that the Earth probably is around 4 billion years old, and the universe probably is close to 13.8 billion years old. So here we go. The fossil record. Now, a little aside here, I do not believe that the fossil record supports Darwinian evolution, the Darwinian type of explanation for life without a creator. I don't believe it supports that at all. In fact, I think the fossil record refutes the common understanding of evolution. But this video is not focused on the issue of evolution. It's focused on the issue of the age of the Earth. And I do think the fossil record points towards an old Earth. And this is why there are consistently layers in the fossil record that have types of creatures that do not exist today and do not exist in other layers. The most famous example is dinosaurs, but there's many other examples. There's different types of plants and different types of insects and different types of sea life. And the amount of mixing between these ancient creatures and creatures that are alive today, I would expect there to be a lot of mixing if the Earth was young. And I'm not saying necessarily that there would have to be human bones next to dinosaur bones, although if the Earth was young, there certainly could be. But I would at least expect horse or rabbit or dog or giraffe or elephant bones to be found in the same layers and near to some of the dinosaur bones. And in other cases, I would also expect creatures from what scientists believe are from different eras of Earth's history to be more mixed together. But they're not mixed together. They're very consistently dinosaur bones and bones from other creatures from the far distant past or in some layers, and creatures today like giraffes and elephants are in different layers. And to me, this points to a old Earth. And then there's radioactive dating. This is one of the strongest types of evidence. So what happens is there are some elements that are not stable, and they decay, and they don't just decay one time. There's actually decay chains where one element decays into another, decays into another, decays into another, until it gets to a stable element that stays around. Um, and this is something that I'm not an expert on it, but because I was in nuclear engineering, we did have to understand radioactive decay because it's an important part of what happens with nuclear reactors. And the young Earth proponents criticize these radioactive dating methods, and I've looked at their criticisms. But then when I look at the explanations of how the radioactive dating is actually done, to me it looks like it's really strong. They take into account things like the fact that they might not know for sure how much of a certain isotope was there to begin with. And they go to great lengths to try to exclude the possibility of contamination by picking crystals that incorporate certain types of atoms and exclude other types of atoms. And not only that, but there's multiple decay chains, and there's multiple daughter products, and there's multiple atoms that you can use to measure the age of rocks. And all of these things point to a very old Earth. And I think the way that it's done, to me, it looks like the data is very strong that the Earth is old. And I've listened to and I've read some of the young Earth counter arguments. They are not convincing to me, anyways. Now some of these are not really direct proofs of an old Earth, but they are things that fit really well with an old Earth that we've discovered over the last 70 years or so. Well, some of them go back a little bit farther than that, maybe 100, 150 years. And it's just surprising that we found a number of things that fit really well with an old Earth if the Earth isn't old. One of those is nuclear synthesis. A scientist named Fred Hoyle was trying to figure out where carbon came from. And he thought that the elements heavier than hydrogen and helium were all produced in stars. And then when some of those stars explode, the material becomes available to be incorporated into planets. But there was a problem, a technical problem, with getting both elements like carbon and oxygen. And you can go and read about the details. I'm not going to try to explain the details, but he predicted that if carbon had a certain nuclear resonance energy level, then the process could work. But nobody had found that specific energy level for carbon. But he went to some other scientists who worked at a laboratory where they could look for such things, and they found out that his prediction was correct. And it seems strange that his prediction came out to be correct if the process of nuclear synthesis hasn't happened. But it's a process that takes hundreds of millions and even billions of years to produce the effect of carbon and oxygen being available to be included in planets. And then this scientist, Fred Hoyle, by the way, he continued to think about this, and he realized that there were fundamental forces in nature that had to be very fine-tuned for the whole thing to work. And this was part of the beginning of discovering the fine-tuning evidence in the universe, which is one of the strongest scientific evidences for God. That's not the main topic of this video, but I have another video where I focus on fine-tuning, and I talk about Fred Hoyle and nuclear synthesis there as well. And then the expansion of the universe. There's different types of evidence for this, and it's quite strong when you look at the different types. The most basic type of evidence has to do with the redshift coming from distant galaxies, and it fits really well with an old universe. In fact, if our understanding of what redshift is indicating is correct, it would make you think that, yeah, the universe is on the order of 13, 14 billion years old. And then people who believe in a young Earth, and I used to believe in a young Earth, so I'm not looking down on those people. But one of the questions that a long time ago they used to have is if the Earth was uh, many millions or billions of years old, how could it still be hot inside? Because anything tends to cool off over time and move towards the temperature of the environment around it. So in this case, Earth would tend to move towards the temperature of space around it. And the inside of the Earth would tend to come to the temperature of the surface of the Earth. Um, so they said it doesn't make sense that the Earth could be billions of years old because we know the inside of the Earth is very hot because volcanoes still erupt. And inside the Earth, there's molten rock. But we discovered that there are radioactive elements that can explain this extremely well. Uranium and thorium and other long-lived radioactive elements that decay deep in the Earth, and then there's an incredible amount of insulation by all of that thick rock, and that explains very well. It makes total sense that the inside of the Earth can still have molten rock and there can still be volcanoes after billions of years. Another issue that in the past young Earth people would bring up was how did the sun stay so hot for billions of years? And before we found out about nuclear fusion, it was a legitimate question that people didn't have a good answer for. Some people thought the sun was hot because of gravitational contraction, but if that was the source of the sun's heat, there's no way it could keep the sun so hot for billions of years. It just wouldn't produce that much heat. But now we know, we discovered that nuclear fusion deep in the center of the sun is completely capable of keeping the sun and other stars hot and relatively stable for billions of years. And it just seems strange that all of these things work out so well if the universe is young and they're totally unnecessary. It's not exactly proof, but it just fits so well with an old Earth. Now, some of these are proof, like the fossil record and radioactive dating. And then the last one, I think, is a really strong argument for an old Earth. We see events in distant space. Now, some people talk about the starlight problem. That's the problem that, for instance, we see light from a galaxy that's 100 million or billion or 2 billion light years away. And so they say, well, it would have taken that long for the light to get here. So the universe has to be that old at least. The young Earth proponents have I think it's not an unreasonable solution for that problem. They say, well, why couldn't God have created that distant galaxy and created a beam of starlight from it to the Earth at the same time just to allow us to see it? And that doesn't sound too unreasonable to me, but there's a harder problem related to things that are in deep space that we see, because we see events in deep space. So let me explain this and then give an example. Here's a iconic photo of a bullet that has just passed through this apple. Now, because of the bullet's effect on the apple, you can tell what's happened. The bullet has just passed through the apple. And because you could research and get an approximate speed for bullets, you might not know the exact speed of this exact bullet, but you could get an estimate, and you know about how big apples are, and you could make a rough estimate of how long it took for the bullet to pass through the apple and then to move a little bit past it for this photo to be taken. And your estimate would not be exact, but it wouldn't be off by a factor of 100. You would have some rough idea of how long this event took to occur. Now, something similar, we can use similar reasoning to think about galaxy collisions. So here is a picture of the antenna galaxies. There's actually 2 galaxies, and they have been and are colliding. Some people prefer in technical literature, instead of saying colliding, to talk about interacting gravitationally, gravitational interaction, because the stars are so far apart that the galaxies can collide without the stars in the galaxy actually hitting each other. Um, but they do have a huge effect on each other. The galaxies have a huge effect on each other because of their gravity. So here are the two galaxies. There's one there at the bottom. You can see both of these have a basic spiral shape. Uh, the bottom one I think is smaller and doesn't have as many spiral arms as, for instance, we think that the Milky Way has. And then there's the upper galaxy that has a more traditional spiral shape to it. And we can actually zoom in on this a little bit. So there's the lower galaxy, and there's the upper galaxy. But in between the two, there's this strand of red stuff with little white dots in it. And what is going on here is that some of the stars in each of the galaxies and some of the arms of the spiral galaxies have been ripped out of the galaxies by the huge, immense gravitational forces and have formed kind of a bridge of stars. And also, it's an area where new stars are being born because of there's not only stars, but there's large amounts of gas, mostly hydrogen, and when this gas collects and impacts in the right way, it can cause new stars to begin. And so there's this bridge of stars between these galaxies. And this is a process that has taken several 100 million years. And we know this for the same reason that we could make an estimate of how long it took for the bullet to pass through the apple. Galaxies are really, really big. The Milky Way, I think, is close to 100,000 light years across. It's also depends on where exactly you count the edge of the Milky Way as being. But there's certainly many tens of thousands of light years across. So they're really, really big. Now the galaxies relative to each other are moving faster than the bullet in that picture, but they're moving very slow compared to the speed of light. So it would take many, many years to move 1 light year, probably thousands of years or more for these galaxies to move 1 light year relative to each other. And so you can just easily do the math and see that if these galaxies have passed through each other or next to each other, or these stars have been pulled out of the galaxy so that they stretch between them, it has to be a process of several 100 million years. And you can read about the antenna galaxy and see that that is the type of estimate that scientists make of the antenna galaxies. There's 2 of them. And now they could be, their estimates could be wrong, but one thing's for sure, this process is a lot longer than 6,000 years. Young Earth people could say, well, maybe God could miraculously make it happen faster, or just make it look like that. But why would God? I feel like it would almost be like He was deceiving us if He showed us an image of a process that is in progress and that already normally, based on very simple facts, the size of the galaxies and how fast they're moving, we can see would take tens and hundreds of millions of years. In some cases, these galactic interactions may go on for 1 billion years. Here's another case of galactic interactions. There's a lot of these, by the way. You can research these and find other really spectacular-looking space photographs on your own. ARP-143, where the connecting strands of blue stars likely are the result of these galaxies passing through each other. So they've already passed through each other, and it's left this string of stars between them. Also, the galactic forces explain why the one on the right is kind of triangular shape, which is unusual. And again, this is a process of hundreds of millions or more years. Certainly not anything that could happen in 6,000 years. So here's a summary of these types of scientific evidence. And there's just so many types of evidence. And there are other types also, but these are the ones that, some of the ones that for me helped me shift from thinking the Earth was young to thinking the Earth is is old. Now, might new scientific discoveries or better ways of interpreting the data support a young Earth view? In theory, that could happen. I mean, we have to remember we're at a point in our study of the universe in cosmology, the structure and the history of the universe, where there's a lot of unknowns. Scientists believe that the majority of matter in the universe is dark matter, and we don't know what dark matter is. There's some guesses, but we don't know what it is. And the large majority of energy in the universe, they believe, is dark energy, and we don't know what that is. So we have to be humble and say that there's still a lot we don't know. But it's hard for me to see changes in science or the understanding of science overthrowing all of this evidence that points towards an old Earth and an old universe. If it does, then I'll humbly change my view again. But I think that's very unlikely. And yes, there are young Earth scientists who give what they believe to be some scientific evidence, for a young Earth and a young universe. And I've looked at that material, and I've looked at the old Earth responses to young Earth claims, and I've looked at the young Earth responses to old Earth claims when it comes to the science. And to me, on this topic, the old Earth claims just are much better reasoned, much better argued, more and better evidence. You might not agree with me, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me on this. As I pointed out earlier, to be a wonderful, good Christian who loves your neighbor and believes in Jesus and helps other people. Now, if science is correctly showing the Earth to be old, is it reasonable to take another look at the Bible to see if it can reasonably be harmonized with an old Earth? Is that an okay thing to do? And I think the answer is yes. For example, there was a time when most people thought that the Earth was at the center of the solar system. This wasn't just most religious people. This was most people who thought about science type of things, and most people just in general thought that the Earth was at the center of the solar system and the universe as they understood the universe. But when science showed otherwise, they reasonably realized that some voices that they had viewed literally are using metaphorical language. Now, this didn't happen overnight, and there was conflict and there were battles. But today, people read voices that, if taken very literally, would make it sound like the Earth is in the middle and the sun is moving around the Earth. And they said, no, that's just metaphorical language. Here's an example, Malachi 1:11. I love this verse for reasons that have nothing to do with the topic in this video. God says, my name will be great among the nations, from where the sun rises to where it sets. In every place, incense and pure offerings will be brought to me, because my name will be great among the nations, says the Lord God Almighty. A great verse showing us that the Great Commission is going to succeed, that God is going to be worshipped by people all over the world, and it's coming true. There are people in every political nation today who are Christians worshiping the God all over the world. It's wonderful to think about that. But here, where it talks about the sun, the place from where the sun rises to where the sun sets. Well, we use that kind of language too, but we know that the sun is not actually rising in the sky, but instead the Earth is spinning. And we also know that there isn't one certain location on Earth. That's the place where where the sun rises. We understand that it's not like that. That's symbolic language that just means everywhere, all over the Earth, God will be worshipped, and that makes sense. But at one time, people thought the language was very literal. So I think if science shows us something, we shouldn't just automatically believe the science. But if over time we think, I think the science is probably true, I think it's okay to go back and say, I also believe the Bible is completely true. Is there a way that's reasonable and that doesn't deny the truth of the Bible to show that the Bible could be consistent with an old Earth interpretation. And actually, there are many ways to interpret Genesis 1 have been proposed that go along with an old Earth. I'm far from the first person to think about this, but I'm going to share what, as far as I know, it's a way that I haven't heard other people talk about it. I'm going to share that in a little bit, but I want to just briefly mention some of these other methods of interpreting Genesis 1. And one helpful resource, if you want to look at these methods in a little bit more depth, because I'm not going to go over them in depth, is a series of teachings from William Lane Craig's Defenders class, where he discusses these different interpretations and their strengths and weaknesses. And I'll try to remember to include a link to the first one of these classes in the video description, and then you can easily find the rest. But even without that link, you could Google this and find it pretty easily, I think. But my list is based on his list. My explanation isn't going to be as in depth or exactly like his, perhaps. But he'll before I give the different ways to interpret Genesis 1 that are consistent with an old Earth, I forgot I want to include this: reasons from the text to think it might not be intended as literal. So it's not only that the science points to an old Earth. There are hints in the text of Genesis 1 that should cause people to say, well, this is kind of strange if it's literal, and maybe it's not meant to be interpreted literally. So let's look at 4 of these quickly. The day and night are happening before the sun is created. The sun is created on day 4, but days 1, 2, and 3 have a morning and an evening. And you can think of an explanation for that, which would allow it to be literal. But it seems kind of strange. People say, well, Jesus is the light of the world, and God could have had a different source of light. It does say that God created light on, that was on day 1. God creates light. But why there would be a morning and an evening, and would it turn out to be a 24-hour period, it's unexplained in the text, and it does possibly indicate that this is not a literal account, especially when it comes to the timing issue. Then when trees are created, if you go and read the text, it doesn't actually say directly that God created the trees. Certainly he did. But God speaks to the ground and tells the ground to bring forth the trees. And it says the ground brought forth the trees and they bore fruit. And we all know that it takes more than a day for a tree to grow up out of the ground and to produce fruit. Now, couldn't God have miraculously made it happen in 24 hours? Sure, he could, but it doesn't say that that explicitly, and it's just a hint that maybe that this wasn't meant to be understood as a literal 24-hour day. Then there's the 6th day. And when you look at the 6th day account in Genesis 1 and you combine it with information from Genesis 2, a lot happens on the 6th day. Not only are all the animals created and then Adam and Eve are created, but also on the 6th day, God brings, before Eve is created, he brings all of the animals to Adam, and Adam gives a name to all the different animals. And a lot of people have pointed out that it just doesn't seem like all of that fits in a normal 24-hour day. And again, God could have given Adam supernatural ability to name, 10 animals a second or something, but that's just weird. Another very reasonable possibility is that they are not literal days and never were meant to be interpreted that way. And then the 7th day seems to be ongoing. The other 6 days all say there was a morning and an evening, but it doesn't say that about the 7th day of rest. And there are hints that, well, God is still resting from his work of creation. That seems to be indicated in the Bible. And so The seventh day doesn't seem to be a literal 24-hour day. And I know that young Earth, I would respect my brothers and sisters who are young Earth, and they have tried to give answers to all of these things. To me, their answers just aren't that persuasive, but they are to some people. Okay. So now let's talk about these different methods of interpreting Genesis 1 in a way that is not literal. So one way to interpret it is the young Earth interpretation, which I agree is simple and straightforward. That's a great strength of that interpretation. Simple and straightforward, except for there are those issues that I just talked about where it doesn't seem so simple. But let's look at some ways that people have interpreted that would fit in old Earth. Now, each of these has weaknesses. I'm not convinced that any of these are completely correct, which is why I'm going to share my own method in just a little bit. Okay. The gap interpretation says that verse 1, God created the heavens and the earth. That's when God created everything. And then they say maybe some kind of cataclysmic event happened, maybe associated with the fall of Satan and his angels or something, that also had a huge impact on creation. And then the 6 days are God kind of renewing, recreating, fixing, restoring creation so it would be ready for people. Now, with each of these, as I give a very simple explanation, and I'm not giving all of the arguments in favor of them or the arguments against them, you're probably going to have things pop up in your mind and say, that doesn't seem right because of... but right now, I just want to show you that there are different methods to interpret it. Non-consecutive days. So some people have said, well, maybe they are 6 literal 24-hour days, but they didn't happen one right after another. There was day 1, and then maybe there was a gap, not between Genesis 1 and then Genesis 1, 2, and following, but there's a gap between each of the days, and the gap might be millions or hundreds of millions or a billion years or more. So that's a theory, and you can probably think of some problems with that, but it's a theory. The day age says that each of the days symbolizes a whole age, and I have a little bit of a congestion thing going on, so I'm going to use a cough drop. Sorry about that. It's not great etiquette to speak with a cough drop, but it's better than to start coughing. So anyways, day age is one theory. And some of the people who promote day age say that the ages could overlap some, and that would help with their theory. Revelation Day. This one's kind of interesting. I don't think it's correct, but it's interesting. Somebody came up with the idea that maybe these are not 6 days when God was creating, but 6 days where God revealed different parts of his creation on each day to Moses, for example. So on day 1, God told Moses about him creating light, and then so on and so forth for day 2 through 7. And so the days match when God revealed it as opposed to how long it actually took him to do the stuff in each day. A literary framework says that the days are not meant to be days, but they are used just as a device, a literary device, and so that's another view. And then functional creation. This is I think it's a newer view that says that God was not creating stars in the way that we think of creating stars and trees and land and seas and all those things, but he was assigning them functions on each of the days. Getting ready in assigning these functions went along with getting the earth and especially Eden ready to be a place where he would come and dwell with people when he made people. And so this kind of goes along with a temple type of thinking, the place where God lives. And then Hebrew creation myth says that this would have been understood by the Hebrews as a creation myth, but a myth that communicated truths about God and how he created things. Um, and like I said, all of these have problems. Now, I have thought about a aspect of this issue, and it would surprise me if someone else hasn't thought about this before, but I haven't come across it from anyone else. So I'm not. I haven't done a huge amount of resource. I did try Googling it, of course. Maybe I'm the first person to think about this, or maybe other people have, but I have an ideal that I call the dream solution. So what in the world is that? I was thinking about how did God reveal this content to the person he first revealed it to. Now, I believe Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, but a number of Christian scholars think that it's possible that people before Moses kept records. Maybe people like maybe Adam, maybe Noah, maybe Abraham, maybe others after Abraham, and passed these records down. And there were some hints that this might be going on in the text, and that Moses had these records, and then God inspired him, and the Holy Spirit inspired him in how to use these records to write Genesis. So what I'm talking about is whoever the first person is that God revealed the content of Genesis 1 to, and whether it was to Moses or to someone else, and then that was passed on to Moses. So here it is. Here's the dream solution. Finally, God had to reveal the content of Genesis 1 to someone, Moses or whoever first received the revelation. No human was there until Adam was created. The 2 most likely methods of revelation in this case are either 1, what we might call divine dictation, or 2, by a dream. If it was revealed by a dream, then it would not be surprising that the days are not literal and that they could be serving as scenes that show different aspects of God's creation work without giving any information about timing. Let's break this down, and hopefully it will make sense to you. God had to reveal the content of Genesis 1 to someone, and as I said, it might have been Moses or it might have been someone before Moses, and then it got passed down to Moses, who put it into the book of Genesis. No human was there. Certainly during the first 5 days of creation, no human was there. And so this couldn't come from human knowledge. It had to be revealed in a rather direct way by God to somebody, if it's true, and I definitely believe it's true. The 2 most likely methods of revelation in this case are what we might call divine dictation or dream. Now, let's stop and talk about this for a minute. In 2 Timothy, Paul tells us all Scripture is inspired by God and is profitable for teaching, for rebuking, for correcting, for training in righteousness. I believe that is true, and I believe it applies to all of Genesis, and I believe it applies to Genesis 1. The issue is not whether or not Genesis 1 is inspired by God, but how? What method did he use to inspire it? And we can look throughout the Bible and see examples of different methods God used to inspire different parts of the Bible. In the Gospel of John, near the end of it, John writes, "This is the disciple who testifies to these things and who wrote them down. We know that his testimony is true." And then later in 1 John, he writes, "That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked at and our hands have touched, this we proclaim concerning the word of life." So he's clearly claiming to be an eyewitness here. So one method of God inspiring a part of the Bible, and this would apply to the Gospel of John, I believe, would be a Holy Spirit guided and inspired eyewitness account. So John is writing about things that he saw, he heard, he touched Jesus, Um, but the Holy Spirit is guiding this process so that, yes, we can say that it's what John wrote, but it also is the word of God. And then, but that this couldn't be the method that was used for Genesis 1 because there were no human eyewitnesses. Moses was not an eyewitness. Even Adam was not an eyewitness to most of the events in Genesis chapter 1. Now we can look at Luke. Luke introduces his gospel this way. Many have undertaken to compile a narrative about the events that have been fulfilled among us, just as the original eyewitnesses and servants of the word handed them down to us. It also seemed good to me, since I have carefully investigated everything from the very first, to write to you an orderly sequence, most honorable Theophilus, so that you may know the certainty of the things about which you have been instructed. So Luke wrote the Gospel of Luke based on carefully investigating eyewitness accounts. Luke probably spoke to some of these eyewitnesses directly because he spent some time in Palestine and would have had access to many eyewitnesses from the time in life and ministry of Jesus. And some of the other accounts may have been handed down to him, like secondhand, maybe a written account from somebody, or even an oral account, but from a source he trusted and investigated. And he carefully investigated all this, like an investigative reporter might do. So another method of inspiration is a Holy Spirit guided and inspired careful investigation. And I think that applies to the Gospel of Luke. In Acts, Luke is an eyewitness to some of the events, but other parts of Acts would have been the same thing. But once again, this couldn't be the method that was used for Genesis 1 because there, not only did Moses not see those things, but there were no human eyewitnesses to most of the events in Genesis 1. So those are legitimate ways that God inspired some parts of the Bible, but not Genesis 1. So in Exodus 20, we read this. Then God spoke all these words, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery. Do not have other gods besides me. And he goes on to give the Ten Commandments and other instructions to Israel through Moses. And here God is speaking directly to Moses. He's basically telling him what to write down. The Ten Commandments God actually wrote with his own finger. Speaking probably metaphorically, onto a tablet of stone. But God spoke directly to Moses and told him what to write for parts of the parts of Exodus and also Leviticus and parts of Numbers and Deuteronomy. He could have used this method also for Genesis. There's nothing that rules that out. So direct communication or divine dictation is another possibility. Just God showing up and saying, write this, and Moses writes it. And we can't rule that out for Genesis 1. And most people probably assume that this is the method that was used. But there's another method that we should consider. In Numbers, which Moses also wrote, inspired by God, he said, that's referring to God, listen to what I say. If there is a prophet among you from the Lord, I make myself known to him in a vision. I speak with him in a dream. This indicates that a common way that God spoke to prophets was through dreams. In general, this is how God spoke to prophets at this time. It certainly sounds like that. We know it's not the only way because we know that God actually showed up and spoke directly to Moses, but God frequently used dreams to speak to prophets. So another possibility is that Genesis 1 is a revelation by giving a dream or a vision. And I'm not going to differentiate between dreams and visions for the purpose in this video, because for the purposes of this video, they function pretty much the same way. And the Bible treats them as being overlapping and basically the same thing as well. Okay. So if it was revealed by a dream, aside from the fact that it is a reasonable possibility, um, there is some other data that makes it seem not unlikely that Genesis 1 was revealed by a dream. What am I talking about? The book of Genesis is stuffed full of people having revelatory dreams from God, supernatural dreams from God. There are multiple examples, and these dreams play a pretty big part in the book of Genesis. People in Genesis who receive dreams from God include Abimelech and Jacob and Laban and Joseph, the cupbearer and the baker, and Pharaoh. So there's a lot of examples of God giving dreams. So if someone was given the book of Genesis and just asked, read this book and see if you can figure out how God might have revealed the content of Genesis 1 to something, I think they would come up with the same two possibilities that I've come up with. One is by direct communication. There are examples of that in Genesis. And the other would be by dream, because there are lots of examples of God speaking to people by dreams in the book of Genesis. Now, while we can't be certain that Genesis 1 was revealed in a dream, given the fact that God declared dreams to be a general way that he communicates with prophets, and given the many examples and large roles that dreams play in Genesis, it should be considered a significant possibility. Now, the last statement here says that if it was revealed by a dream, then it would not be surprising that the days are not literal and that they could be serving as scenes that show different aspects of God's creation work without giving information about timing. And this may not be so obvious why this last statement is true. I want to take a little time to show you from the Bible why this part of my statement of the dream solution is true. Now, in some dreams, an angel simply gives a person directions, and this is very similar to direct communication. Joseph has a dream, an angel comes and says, take Mary and the child, go to Egypt because Herod is going to try to kill him. It's basically direct communication in the form of a dream. But there are other dreams that do not work like that in the Bible and in Genesis. But in other dreams, a person is shown something, often the future. And now think about this. Genesis 1 is about the past, but there's something similar about Genesis 1 in the future. In both cases, no humans were there. No humans are in the future yet. We will be in the future when we get there, but nobody is there now. No humans are in the future now to tell us what's happening in the future, and no humans were around during the first 5.5 days of creation to tell us about that. So in some dreams, a person is shown something, often in the future. Throughout the Bible, these dreams do not work like video clips from the future. Rather, they use symbolic imagery to convey truths. Let's look at some examples. And also, the time element of these dreams often uses symbols, and or else it's unclear. So here's an example in Genesis. So the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream. He said to them, in my dream, I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand. This is what it means, Joseph said to him. God gave Joseph a supernatural ability to interpret these dreams. The 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your position, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand, just as you used to do when you were his cupbearer. Well, if Joseph wasn't around to help us, I'm not sure that anybody would have guessed that branches were symbolizing days. Something similar happens with the chief baker, but in his case, the 3 baskets are 3 days. And then then Pharaoh has a dream. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. After them 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, came up out of the Nile and stood beside those on the river bank. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the 7 sleek, fat cows. Now, in the dream, there were cannibalistic cows, cows that eat other cows. In real life, there are no cannibalistic cows. He fell asleep again and had a second dream. 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream. And in real life, there aren't stalks of grain eating other stalks of grain. What do these things symbolize? Well, once again, God gives Joseph the interpretation. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years. Wow, who would have guessed that a cow could be a symbol of a year? But it is, in the dream. And the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. The 7 lean, ugly cows that came up afterwards are 7 years. And so are the 7 worthless heads of grain, scorched by the east wind. They are 7 years of famine. So there's 2 dreams. Each has 7 years and 7 more years. You might think 2 dreams, each with 14 years, is talking about 28 years. But actually, the dreams overlap. So they're talking about the same 14 years. In Daniel 4, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream where a tree is symbolizing him. He's symbolized by a tree. Also, 7 times turns out to symbolize or be a way of speaking about 7 years. In Daniel 9, Daniel, has a vision built around 77s, which most people call 70 weeks, but most interpret the weeks as each symbolizing 7 years. Further, many Christians believe that there was a large gap in time between the 69th week and the 70th week, even though it doesn't explicitly say that in Daniel. Now the time element in Revelation is even more complex. I studied Revelation in a lot of depth. It appears that there was at least some amount of recapitulation. That means that the same event in history is shown in different verses throughout Revelation. So it's kind of like the 2 dreams that Pharaoh had. It's repeating some of the same material, but in slightly different form. The visions are very difficult to interpret as all happening in a simple linear fashion. For example, as early as Revelation 6, we find what seems to be a description of the end of this current world. So here we go. I watched as he opened the 6th seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red. And the stars in the sky fell to earth as figs drop from a fig tree when shaken by a strong wind. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. Well, if that's anywhere near literal, that's the end of the world. But the world is still around and stuff is happening in it in Revelation 12 and 13 and 14. And I think the explanation is that it's not a simple linear sequence of events, that this actually is talking about the end of the world. But then it goes back and talks about some other stuff again in the vision. So, in dreams and visions, the element of time is often the most difficult to interpret. Baskets and branches can symbolize days. Cows and stalks of grains can symbolize years. And these can be overlapping rather than sequential. Weeks can symbolize periods of 7 years and can include large gaps in the sequence. Events can be repeated, resulting in a timeline that is not simply sequential. Since all this is true, if it was revealed by dream, Genesis 1, if it was revealed by dream, then it would not be surprising that the days are not literal, and they could be serving as scenes that show different aspects of God's creation work without giving any information about timing. Now, weaknesses and questions for the dream solution. One, we are not told that anyone was having a dream. This is the biggest weakness, and I totally admit it. This is a weakness, but not a fatal one. We are also not told that there was any type of direct communication or divine dictation. We simply are not told how this was communicated. Given the prevalence of dreams in Genesis, and God's statement that dreams are in general one way he communicates with his prophets, it should be considered an option. But still, is there any reason for not mentioning if it was a dream? I think there is a possible reason that I can think of. Telling us that, for example, Moses was sleeping and had a dream would have taken some of the initial focus off of God and what he was doing and put some of the focus on the human who received the dream. Perhaps God did not want that for the opening chapter of the Bible. Compare, one night Moses had a dream, to, in the beginning, God created. So I think God could have had reasons to not explicitly mention the method of revelation, especially if it was a dream. Now, why are there 7 days with morning and night in the dream if they are not communicating much of anything about time? This is another very legitimate question. In addition to telling us about creation, God also is using this account to establish a healthy pattern of work and rest. Of course, God does not need rest in the same way we do, and it is not necessary that his days are like our days. In fact, we are told elsewhere that for God, 1,000 years is like a day. But as part of a symbolic dream, it works as a pattern for work and Sabbath rest. The two references to God creating in 6 days found in Exodus are both given specifically in relation to establishing the law about the Sabbath for the people of Israel. So that could be the reason that he put these different scenes of him creating into six days and then a seventh day of rest in the dream without it meaning that there were 6 literal days. And because God's purpose of the revelation was not to teach us how long it took, it didn't matter that some people would wrongly interpret it, as long as those people are humble about it and don't make too much out of it. I don't think it's a big deal if people hold to a young earth view. I think it is problematic if they treat people who hold to old earth as if we are heretics and unbelievers or foolish or something like that. Nothing in the Bible indicates that God was emphasizing that the earth and the universe are either young or old. So it was not important to present the creation story in a way that made clear that the earth and universe are old, even if it is, and I think it is. I just don't think that was something that was important that God wanted to communicate to us. He could have, if it was important. Conclusions and pastoral advice. Because we are not told that Genesis 1 was revealed by a dream, we can never be certain that it was. I think we should stay humble about this. But I think we can be confident that it could have been revealed by a dream, and that if it was, this resolves the apparent conflict between science and the Bible with respect to how long creation took and the age of the earth and the universe. So I think we can be confident that this is a reasonable and possible solution, even though we don't know with certainty that it is the correct solution. As far as I know, this is a new theory. I shared about it in a short blog post, not as detailed as this video, a few years ago. It wouldn't surprise me if someone else has spoken about this. I don't remember hearing it when I was reviewing material from other people on this issue. I came across all those different theories. I didn't see anything about the method of revelation. It scares me a little bit if this is a new theory, because Uh, if it's right, wouldn't somebody have thought of it by now? And also, it hasn't been put to the test yet. I hope that it will receive some examination and be subject to criticism. Uh, there may be weaknesses that I have not thought of, and it might prove to be just wrong. If someone shows that in a way that I agree with and I can see it, I'll be glad to abandon it. Even though it is a theory that we can never be certain is correct, I think it could be very useful. It could show that there is a good, reasonable way to understand Genesis 1 that does not conflict with an old oath. And I think this might be a better, and it might be the correct way compared to the other ways that people have come up with. I pray that God will use this idea in this video for good. Heavenly Father, this is a complicated topic. A lot of people have thought about it. I might be off base. If I am, I pray that this video will not mislead anyone and that soon I'll be able to see where I went wrong. And but if there is something to this, and if it would be helpful, I pray that people will see it and be helped by it and think about it. And if it turns out to be the correct view, I pray that it will spread and that it will help people so that their faith will not be shaken by what they think is a conflict between correct scientific understanding and truth contained in the Bible. You created the universe, and we should expect science correctly done to yield truth. And you revealed the Bible to people, so we trust that it is entirely true. Bless us and help us, and bless this video in Jesus' name I pray. Bless everyone who watches it. Amen.